Are you ready for the very, very, very strongest podcast? This is your host, Justin Parentoni. I'm the captain of this voyage today. There are no first mates. There are no swab deck boys. Everybody else is in the brig right now. But I'm going to let everyone out of their cells so they can come record with me today. How are you guys doing? So first I got our former captain, and we'll talk about the mutiny that happened, Bill. How you doing, Bill?
Doing all right. You know, it's good to not be the captain once in a while because you know it's just too much responsibility. It just, you know, it really takes a toll. It's always what's the captain doing and where's the captain, never how's the captain doing.
Don't worry. Exactly. But you know, not everybody's born to be a captain, Bill. You know, and I'm not going to say which one of us was.
You promoted him to first mate, and look what happened, Bill.
Yes. I should have never let you be glue guy, Lou.
No,
you should have known.
I'm sorry for making you the glue guy.
You made me the glue guy, and now I'm in the brig.
Now both of you guys are in the brig.
You gave Justin too much power. Look, he overthrew you. Now he's the captain. Look at me.
I am the captain now.
Oh, he's not the captain. I let him borrow the hat for 1 hour,
and I glued it to my fucking head.
It's supposed to be your prized possession, and he gave it to first mate Justin Nunzio Parentoni.
And you might ask, dear listeners, what exactly am I the captain of? I am the captain of the very, very, very strongest podcast, where every week we talk about the greatest anime series of all time, one piece at a time. This week we are covering episodes 54 through 61, otherwise known as the Warship Island Arc. And you might also be asking yourself, why isn't Bill the captain? So we've decided that on these filler arcs that Bill hasn't seen, we are going to be switching up who captain is. So this week will be my turn. Maybe one day, pigs will fly and Lewis might be captain. But
one day the glue is going to be captain.
Glue the glue. Glue the glue.
Hey, that guy should be captain. Yeah, he said it. Let's do it.
No, I can't handle all this responsibility.
Man, I'm the glue that's going to keep this ship sailing, baby.
I said it last time. Look.
First thing is captain. Get me some Pop-Tarts. Second thing is captain. I hate Pop-Tarts. I want macaroni.
Toasted strudels. Get it right. Before we hop into this week's episode, what's been going on? What have you guys been up to?
Actually, let me start this podcast off right, because I got a new thing for the listeners right now. Important announcement. That Instagram that's on those other episodes, forget about that Instagram. We got a new Instagram handle.
It's garbage. Never go on to it.
It's gone. It's out of here. We got a new Instagram handle.
Tell me what it is.
Strongest pod. All one word. One word's all you need. What are you going to see when you go to the very strongest pod?
I don't know, Bill. What are you going to see if you go on to the very strongest pod?
Let me tell you. All right. So
paint a word picture.
There's a little thing that you anime-only watchers don't know about the manga. And that is that at the beginning of every manga chapter, what you get is a little piece of art from Oda, just drawing the Straw Hats, having fun. And isn't that what we like to see? Isn't that what we want? But we don't get those in the anime, because it's just a little bonus thing. And what we don't get that's super important that we don't get in the anime is every once in a while, those cover pages are cover stories. And in those cover stories, we get to see some of our favorite characters that are not main characters doing cool and fun things, sometimes very important to the plot things. And what I will be doing going forward on our Instagram feed is couple times a week I'm going to be posting cover pages, and then going forward when we do a filler arc, not on this episode, but going forward whenever we cover a filler arc, we are also going to be covering the cover stories, and I'm going to post the full cover story on Instagram. So far as I know, there's no easily digestible way that exists on the internet yet to just swipe through chapter by chapter and view all of these cover stories. And that's because they're at the beginning of each One Piece chapter. So normally what you have to do if you want to marathon these is you have to have all of your manga on your shelf, and you have to go through just to the front page of each chapter. Here's one panel for this story. Then I go to the next chapter, and that there's one more panel. And some of these cover stories are 20, 30, 40 panels. So you would have to be looking at so many different volumes.
Panels
of
or
manga.
pages?
It's a one panel per page, basically.
Okay, so it's a cover. So it's a cover page, but it's a one panel. All right, so
it's a cover page. It's basically one panel. So
okay,
right. So whenever I've had to read these or like wanted to go back and read these, you have to look up what chapters do they take place, and then you have to go either to your actual manga collection if you have all of these, or more likely you go to some place you can read them online, and you go chapter 300 and something, and you look at that one panel from that chapter, and then you go to the next chapter, and you're reloading several pages, right? So what this is going to do, and I think this is going to bring value to the listeners, and for the anime-only watchers who are caught up on the series but haven't seen these, this is going to be a really easily digestible way, and this is also going to be for you guys, Justin and Lou, to be able to read these really easily. And so when you go to this Instagram, we're going to have some of these cover pages, and then we'll have some of the cover stories when we're covering them. And obviously they'll stay on the feed after that, so you can have them as a resource as we continue on.
That's exciting.
That is
You guys
very
are
exciting.
To do the work. Bill is.
Yeah. I've put. It's taken a lot. I've already spent probably about 5 hours gathering all the chapters and reformatting them from Instagram. If the scan on the cover story isn't like perfect, I'll go through and I'll adjust the contrast, get things looking right. There's some of them where the things are kind of skewed. I fix it up, putting some work on this, but it's going to look very good, and I'm very excited about it because there's some cover stories that I actually haven't seen. Some of them that I know of that I haven't seen, and so I'm excited to go through these myself.
Guys, listeners, let me tell you something. Not only do you get a spectacular piece of entertainment based on audio, but Bill is adding a visual element to it. And I don't know where you're able, and for free. It's for no cost, not yet. So, don't worry.
You know what you could do to help us out? Just go tell your friends about this podcast. You know, drop some reviews about how Lou Glue is the best.
Lou Glue.
Lou Glue. You know, don't worry about the other two guys. Tell them all I did it.
He did everything.
Yeah, show some love.
And go to the Instagram and give us a follow. That's Very Strongest Pod, all one word.
And we're going to give you guys that Instagram plug at the end, but we're all really excited about it. So we wanted to put it at the top of the show. What else has been going on? I know how Bill spent at least 6 hours of his week. What about you, Lou?
Enough of that shit. Let's talk about Denzel Washington's son in Tennet. Oh my god. I was so excited about this movie because Justin's been trying to get me to watch it for a while. Not that it takes much to twist my arm.
Say the name again for the listeners.
Denzel Washington's son.
Right. I don't know
Tennet.
I think Tennet is the name of this series.
Tennet.
Or the name of this movie.
Forward and backwards, guys.
Yeah,
Palindromes.
and it is so good. I was on a flight from Atlanta, Georgia to New York, and I was like, oh, they got Tennet on here, and Justin's been telling me to watch it. I really didn't even remember what the premise was or anything. So, one, Denzel Washington's son got me sold. Robert Pattinson, fucking, I'm all in. Then you've got bullets going in reverse into guns, and I looked at the guy next to me. I was like, "You're gonna have to shut the fuck up right now because I'm watching Tenet." I watched the whole damn thing
On a plane, the
On a
way
plane.
Christopher Nolan intended.
the way he wanted it, and I was so like, I want more of this. I immediately bought the film, and then when I got home, I went up to Bill and our roommate Christopher, and I was like, "You guys want to watch something cool?"
Well, no, he came up to us and he was like, "Bill, I watched this movie that I don't get. Can you put it on? Explain it to me." And I was like, "Sure, Lou."
That is not what I said. Actually, I came
I was
up
like,
with that.
"Sure, Lou, why don't you put it on? You know, I'm a smart guy because I watch so much One Piece, so I'll be able to put together what's going on in this movie about."
What I did say was, Bill, I watched this movie. I really liked it. You're probably gonna hate it. It makes sense. It makes sense. I promise. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
that was Lou's advertisement of the movie to me. He's like, he's like, "Bill, you got to watch this. It makes sense." I was like, "Yeah," unlike a lot of the other shit you show me, where like most of what Lou shows me is like ghost videos. I'm like, "Lou, it's just a T-shirt in the wind." He's like, "No, it's a ghost video."
No, it's a ghost. I swear. Don't be knocking my ghost videos.
And Lewis is a
Numbers?
text.
Lewis loves some ghost videos.
Lewis is texting, say, Justin, get Bill to watch it with me. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's Denzel Washington's son. What other advertisement do you need?
Yeah.
I must have said it like 7 times. I was so amped seeing him. Because he looks like his dad too, and he's a good actor, but he's got like his own like vibe to him, which makes him like kind of funny, you know?
It's his speech rhythm is such his dad. So if you love Denzel Washington talking and who doesn't, like go see Tennet. Because you won't get Denzel Washington talking, but you'll get his son.
Oh, Christopher Nolan.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's still in the realm of anime too. Like even Bill was saying last night, he was like, first of all, Lou, you're incredible. Second of all, this feels like an anime. And I was like, Christopher Nolan does pull from anime.
Well, I did say something like that because Lou put it on, and as soon as I started realizing that I liked this movie, I started chanting, "Lou the glue, Lou the glue, Lou the," and we all stood up,
and I just kept pumping my arms.
Well, yeah. Well, then me and Christopher, we lifted him up and we like paraded him around the apartment.
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah. So, this movie is fucking sweet though. Like it's very like it is the fighting in it and like the way the powers are kind of like does feel very shonen anime to me. So I was really interested in that. I also think, and Lou and I were just ranting about this, but the scenes are so well thought out, and like the amount of mental math that they need to do, because for the listeners, maybe we haven't said this directly, but basically what you have here is people going forward and backward in time, but when they go backward in time, they're kind of like in reverse. It's not like time travel in the like sense of like your physical body just goes from here to like the past or whatever. It's like your body is moving in reverse as you're going through time. And so there's like fight scenes where one character is fighting someone as they go through time in reverse, and so the other person is experiencing that person going backwards, and it's just like.
But they're fighting in real time. Like
it's
forward.
Fucking sweet, and like the amount of like mental math that they probably needed to do to put together these scenes in a way that they are the most logical and like logically flow is really impressive. But it's hype on top of that, so there's just a lot to be impressed with in this movie.
It's a masterpiece in like a certain type of storytelling, and on top of that, it's like okay, and I want to do James Bond on top of everything else.
Yeah.
Like
there's the espionage.
Christopher Nolan's other movies, I know that he's infamous. I know he did for Inception and Memento. They're like I have those DVDs or those Blu-rays, and he would literally have a whiteboard behind him of how the scenes were chronologically and how he's putting them into his films for editing, so he can keep the story straight. So and I haven't seen it yet for this one, but I know he has one somewhere where he's just like, okay, so if this is happening this way, like, yeah, it's just like what you said, the mental math he just put into it to make it work. it's almost like he made it for himself and not for anybody else.
Well, and
Which is
also
probably
the
the best way to do it.
Yeah.
to do those scenes and that choreography, like forward and backward at the same time. Like, as I understand it, those scenes were done in camera. Like,
Yeah, they had to learn to do it backwards. They didn't do film tricks to just reverse what they were doing. They did all that stuff backwards, which is bonkers. The bullets actually had to go into the gun backwards. It was crazy.
Yeah, they had to train the bullets to go backwards. It was
Yeah, that's the crazy part. Yeah,
all paid actors.
so expensive too.
What
man.
about you, Justin? What's been going on with you?
Not too much. Not too much. There was actually when you bring that up, we just got Jacob, our son, these baby books that are like labeled quantum physics for babies.
Oh my God, he's gonna do time travel.
Exactly.
Now
And
he's moving backwards everywhere.
Newtonium physics for babies, like all these crazy concepts, but for babies. And we were going through the books, and my wife was like, okay, so and they explained it really. It's very interesting how they explain it, because it's just a picture. It says like, this is a ball, this ball has mass, and it says like, that the bigger the mass, and it's like when they're explaining gravity, the bigger the mass, the more gravity pulls. If it's hits the ground and it's not moving, that's net neutral gravity. And it's explaining all these things with like page by page with pictures, right? But then it gets into quantum physics, right, for babies. And my wife is reading this to Jacob, and he's following along. He's a baby. He doesn't really, but really we're mostly interested. And they lay this grid out, and they explain how space bends when two objects are getting near each other, and how the time and she's like, wait a minute, how can this not be the fastest way to get between 2 points? Because it's explaining how an object wants to get from one space to another, but it can't follow this particular trajectory due to the laws of quantum physics, and how it'll bend around. And my wife's like, how is that the fastest way? And I was like, you don't understand. They bent the grid. The grid is bent. And she's like, wait a minute, how does that work? This one's for babies. And we were struggling explaining it to each other.
We need to go deeper.
We need to go deeper. We need to go.
I had a book like that when I was a kid that was really hard to understand, called Walk It in My Pocket by Dr. Seuss.
Walk it in my pocket.
It's like, how did he get the walk in his pocket?
Wait a
It's like
minute.
this little animal,
Well, because
and
he had to bend space and time to get it in there.
Exactly, same concept. And then I actually also mentioned to my wife, I was like, "It's haven't you seen Interstellar? We'll just play Interstellar for him. It'll explain it.
It'll explain it for him." Yeah, I'm picturing Jacob just kind of doing what babies do, and you guys are just arguing over space and time.
Yeah, no, it's cool because it's like the pictures and stuff are very interesting. Like it's super minimalistic. So it's written in like baby language, like like you'd see, like tiger, like what sound does a tiger make, makes like and you make the sound, and he makes that association, and you do the same thing with
what sound does the universe make?
Like, what sound does the universe make?
I love how we all knew it was screaming into the void.
But
sounds of the universe.
But yeah, that was my Christopher Nolan trip this weekend.
That's incredible. You got to send me a link to that.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll maybe I'll send it to Bill, and if Bill deems necessary, we'll post it to the Instagram. just that one, because we had a whole bunch, but yeah, those were fun. Besides that, though, I've been also jumping on the manga train with Bill. I've been meaning to read Pluto for the longest time. So, which has been super fun.
How far into it are you?
About halfway through the first volume.
Okay. Okay. So you're just kind of at the beginning. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I'm at the beginning. I'm slow, and I have a baby, and I want to also finish reading Dune again. Like I keep those are the two books I keep they're on my shelf. I'm like I got it. Yeah,
You've read Dune a few times before, haven't you?
There were 2 times where I attempted to start reading, and I love it every time I start to read it. But then it's like about 50 pages in both the first and second time I stopped, kind of like with One Piece. And then but this time I'm like 150 pages in, and I'm sticking to it this time. I'm all the terminology is sticking this time, and I'm 100% in. I bought the Dune board game
Well,
to help me out too.
that's how you know.
Yeah.
Are there spoilers? in the board game?
Dune Risk.
Dune Risk. It's basically Dune Risk. That's exactly what it is.
Oh man, we got to get back on the Risk train. We haven't been playing.
Gosh, we'll do
And Uno.
Ooh, no. You can't say
no. Oh gosh. But
Man, we used to play that game. We would laugh together.
nobody walked away angry at all. But Bill, what about you? What you been up to?
I just finished watching Parasite, which I'd mentioned a little bit. I had just started the last time we did a podcast episode, and this show fucking rules. It's on Hulu if you have it. It's a big recommend from me. I just felt like very few series get better with every episode, but Parasite does. And it's like it's a small cast, but they use them all very effectively, and it has these thriller elements. In a way, I was thinking of it like it feels like Death Note in certain aspects, but if Death Note didn't lose steam in its second half, it's that good, it's good all the way through, and if anything, it gets better. It's so basically it's these aliens are invading people's brains on a small scale, not there's not thousands and thousands and thousands, on a pretty small scale, right? But the main character, the alien, doesn't make it to his brain. It gets stuck in his hand. And so he has this alien hand that he talks to, and
oh, that's awesome. You guys got me already.
It's fucking sweet. Basically the alien, what's so sweet about the alien hand, Migi is the hand's name. And he goes around, and the main character is Shinichi, and you'll get this kind of slice of life stuff going on, and then the hand will tell him, and he's like, Shinichi, one of my kind is around. And that normally means that they're gonna because the aliens can sense each other, and so they'll normally approach each other, and sometimes it ends up with a life and death fight. So it just anytime you hear Migi go, Shinichi, one of my kind is around, it's always oh, it's so sweet. And sometimes they can only run, or they'll run until the point where they're in a advantage position in some way or another, and then Migi will go, Shinichi, we fight here. And I'm like, oh, fucking get him! I get so hyped. It's so good. It's
Get him,
so
Shinichi,
good.
Get him! Roll out of it!
Yeah.
Roll, triangle, reverse triangle.
Roll out of it, Shinichi!
Oh yeah, and yeah, I mean, there were points of this series where I was legitimately on the edge of my seat. I was yelling at the TV. I was having so much fun. I mean, huge recommend for me. It was one of the most fun I've had watching an anime in a long time.
One of the only disadvantages of this show is that I don't get to watch I don't get to watch One Piece with Bill live, because watching hyped Bill is sometimes more hype than what you're watching.
Yeah, 100%. When he's throwing shit and just going, oh my god! And it's the wind.
It's the wind.
And the wind is happening, and he's losing his shit.
I hope everybody who responded on our one Twitter post for the show of Bill Ellis. Don't worry, we'll talk about the wind later.
We'll talk about the wind.
That is, I want to put that on a T-shirt for our show. That was definitely one of our very, very best.
I do get very excited. I'm a big Even if I'm watching something alone, I talk to the TV. I gotta say stuff. I'll stand up. I'm the kind of like, I don't do this in like a movie theater. Like I'm respectful, but like at home, if something's going down, I'm not afraid to clap. I'm not afraid to stand up. I'm not afraid to yell at the TV. I really enjoy a good series, and I think that's also why I get extra bummed on a series that doesn't do much for me, because I'm like, no, I want to feel like excited watching something, you know?
Yeah. It makes me more excited too. Something that's really hype recently. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I've been watching One Piece, and I'm over at episode like 318 right now.
Whoa! You're jumping ahead?
Dude, I've been still watching
No,
One Piece. Yeah,
I'm never gonna catch up
boy.
to you guys then.
No, it's great. It's because like where I'm at, actually where I've been at, like paralleling with being ahead and where we are for the podcast. There's so many things that get answered so far ahead that this like most recent one, I've just been losing my shit. Like there was a day where I was like, oh yeah, I'll just watch like, a few episodes. 50 plus episodes later in one sitting, and I'm like, my back's up against the wall. I'm screaming in my like bedroom, holding a pillow, just like, oh my god, like so many good moments just happening back to back to back.
Okay, guys. I've been having a rough weekend. Weekend. I don't want to bring this up. All right, so I'm gonna put my hand down and say, Lewis, you can't watch any more One Piece.
That's not gonna happen.
Oh, gosh.
Where I'm left off right now is probably the most hype. I can't not.
I am in such a lonely spot, especially as captain of the ship, and being like, it's very hard being.
Well, that's what
captain.
happens.
Put us all in the barracks.
Yeah. Well,
what are we gonna do when we're in prison? Got nothing but time. We're gonna watch One Piece.
You shouldn't have disrespected me by
You
not.
took my middle name.
Well, it's my middle name.
The captain's lost it.
Yeah, no, I lost it as soon as I had it. I never had it. You never had your car. But
don't worry, Justin. I'll watch Tenet like 8 more times, so it'll give you plenty of time to catch up.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Justin, you were talking about that you may have been spoiled on something. We're not going to talk about what the spoiler was, but what happened? What went down?
Give us
Let me tell you guys exactly what happened. So I don't like to bring this up, this kind of thing up, because I like to be clean for the podcast, right? I don't like to get spoiled in advance, because I am the audience for the show. I am their surrogate. I was going to the mall with my son and my wife, a wholesome family trip to the mall, and I go into the store, right? And they have a whole One Piece wall. And as a good, clean, responsible podcast host, I say to myself, I'm not even going to look at anything on this wall, because you know what? I have self-control. There might have been things I seen like in peripheral, but I don't even know if it was One Piece. It might have been something else. It might not even have been a whole One Piece wall. But
maybe I wasn't at the mall.
Maybe I wasn't at the mall. Maybe
I was tripping balls behind a Denny's. Maybe.
Still with my kid. But anyway, but I go to the counter, and behind the counter, they have a whole rack of swords from different things. They have a Master Sword. They have Buster Blade. They have a whole, very recognizable pop culture swords. So, I do the thing that I do. I ask them, hey, do you have a Hattori Hanzo sword back there? And, she goes and she pulls out not the bride's Hattori Hanzo sword from Kill Bill, for listeners who aren't following, but the one she chops the baseball in half with. I like a baseball.
Wait, so is this the one that you can get at the pawn shop or not?
No, this was.
Oh fuck! It's not no resale value on it then. Come on.
Yeah, no. This wasn't the. It
you
wasn't the one.
a Hattori Hanzo sword.
What maybe like for a a palate cleanser episode, we'll just do Kill Bill's Volume 1 and 2.
I could
hell
talk
yeah.
all day about that. It'd be sweet.
Yeah. But I asked her, because I thought it'd be funny for the show, maybe. I was like, do you have any of Zoro's swords from One Piece? And see, here's the dilemma I'm in, listeners. I want only the swords that are in, like, are where we are currently on the show. Because, like I said, I'm not trying to spoil myself. But I don't want to type in Google Zoro's swords, like, Zoro's sword names. Because besides Wado Ichimoji, I don't know any of them. I don't know their names.
Tetsu 3.
Well, now I know, Bill. And where were you then? So this is what I wanted to bring up, listeners. I called Bill, and maybe my service wasn't good. It said user busy when I called Bill.
First of all, when have I ever been busy in my life?
Exactly when I needed you most. Exactly when I needed you.
That's when.
But this is what happens. And I go and I say, so I ask the next question. I say, do you have any of Zoro's swords from One Piece? And she looks at me and she says,
Spoiler.
I have. Yeah,
She says spoiler.
She says
that's it. She opens her mouth and she just says spoiler right to your face. I can't believe that. I can't believe. Anyway, sorry. My rage is hijacking your story a little bit.
No. I understand because your rage. No, well, it was the worst situation I could have been in because what she said could have been a spoiler.
It repeatable? Don't repeat it.
How about this? I'm gonna mark the audio, and I'm gonna have Bill tell me if this is if this is enough of a spoiler.
I'm gonna mute you just in case.
Actually, you know what I want to do? What I want to do is, I think when we discuss spoilers, we should literally only give ourselves a limited amount of time to discuss the spoiler, and then that's kind of funny because then we have to rush to get the spoiler out really quick, but our viewers can also just hit
this is 10 seconds.
Yeah, plus 10 seconds.
Justin, you have 2 seconds for the spoiler.
So let's say we have 90 seconds, so a minute.
Oh,
and a
it'll
half
take me 5 seconds to describe it, and you can make the judgment whether or not
you will describe it. I'll respond, and then we will be done in 90 seconds.
Okay.
Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's talk about it.
She said, "It's the cursed blade."
Well, the cursed blade is Katetsu 3.
Yes. But she says also that he has it in the latest chapter of the manga. 1000 something.
And you said it didn't look like the one that he has right now?
It did, but I was I couldn't pull the picture up, so I didn't know exactly if it was
probably just Katetsu 3. I mean, it's not that big of a spoiler to say that Zoro gets other swords.
Yeah.
But it's...
Does he stick with Katetsu 3?
I don't want to say anything on that.
Okay, all right. But she said it's the cursed blade, and I was like, I know that was
It doesn't look like a cursed blade. It doesn't feel like a cursed blade.
I should have asked her.
What you should have done is you should have picked it right up off the wall.
Yeah.
And flipped it over.
I
flipped it over and see if it cut my arm off.
Which luck is better, the luck of your spoiler or my luck?
Yeah, Justin would have came home with one arm.
But with the sword also.
He would have came home with one. He would have came home with one arm and missing some toes. Like gets his feet on the way down too.
He would have bent his fingers back and almost broken them, and still hold his sword.
Okay, and we are ending spoiler chat in 3, 2, 1. And listeners, the spoilers are over. We are now out of spoiler season. Thank you so much for fast forwarding, and thank you so much for those of you who listened. If you didn't mind getting a little potential spoiler talk.
And to be clear, Bill, so this is the judgment call. Bill, would you call that potential spoiler talk? Because it's very light.
Justin, I would call it spoiler talk if after that segment you came home with one arm and a sword. Spoiler, Justin loses an arm.
This chick of the mall. But I did try to plug our podcast in it, and listeners,
You guys
I
should
need
play
you
it
to
in
show
the
me some
store.
love. Yeah, no, I need you to go find this store. I'm not even going to name it, but I need you guys to find it. I need you to publicly shame her for almost ruining your favorite. Very
What you need to do
strongest.
is you need to go there and you need to buy all the swords so that way she can't give any One Piece spoilers to people who want to get, you buy all their One Piece swords. Now they can't talk about One Piece swords and you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about potential spoilers for new One Piece fans,
Plus, you'd look cool with a sword in your mouth. You know?
Oh man, that sword was going right in my mouth. Like, and I thought about just, seeing if I can, hold it and, stick it in my mouth, take a quick picture.
Yeah.
Give it back. But we live in a post-COVID world, people. I can't do that.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
But besides that, yeah, speaking of Zoro's swords, do you guys want to jump into the episode?
Let's do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
All right. So, where do we leave off? So we leave off. We have a new character introduced, right?
Appy?
Api.
A piece.
Appy.
A piece.
Apis.
Okay,
She's pretty cool.
I want to say this right away because it's not going to fit in as well later, but a piece. I've heard of a piece before. I knew it was filler content, but I didn't know a piece was a person. So when I've heard people talk about the filler a piece, I thought that this was like in my mind what this filler was is at some point someone is like, oh, like tells Luffy, oh, I know where a piece is, thinking that it's like a piece is like One Piece. Like instead of One Piece, it's a piece. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I thought that a piece was going to be some kind of like comical arc about like them confusing One Piece and a piece of like, some like that's some other thing as a piece or something. I don't know if that makes sense. But
No,
Well, let me ask
that's-
you a question. Were you disappointed to find out it was a little girl who screams and kicks people in the balls?
A little bit, because I thought what I had envisioned was kind of funny, and I know that they could have delivered a lot of jokes on that I would have liked. But
let me actually even go back a little bit further. I should have asked you this at the beginning. Bill, having seen this for the first time, what did you think of this arc?
Yeah, this is your first filler arc, right?
Yeah, this is the first arc
not
on this
the-
show that Bill hasn't seen.
yeah, this is the first one that we're covering that I haven't seen yet. So these are new episodes to me. I think I've seen a few filler episodes before, and this is sort of my general feeling about filler episodes in general in One Piece is I think that they're fun. I think some of them had really cool scenes, and I'll get to what some of my favorite scenes of this arc were because I think there were some really strong ones. I think that there are points in the filler episodes where they get clumsy with the mythology of One Piece, and I'll also address the most egregious one later without giving a spoiler of why it's egregious, but like there's just one that I thought was majorly inaccurate for them to do. Also, I think some of the times with the filler stuff, it'll bring some element into One Piece that is not in One Piece yet, that will eventually be in One Piece.
Try to seed
But
it early.
and like, no, not even seed it early. It's like a thing that they're like, oh, this would be a fun thing to add to the world, but like Oda's going to add it to the world, but later. And it takes, so I think, I'm like, I wonder if, I guess, Justin, you could be the judge, or maybe Lou when we get further along. Like, in this is not really a spoiler to say this because there's so many episodes of One Piece, but, there is a dragon introduced much later in the series, like much, much later. And when you encounter the dragon, you're like, holy shit, there's dragons in this world. But if you watch the spoilers first, you're like, oh yeah, there was a dragon in episode 54. You know what I mean? It takes a little bit of the wind out of the sails of some of these moments later. With this arc in particular, nothing like the fact that there's a dragon later, it doesn't do too much, I think. But there is one thing that I find that was definitely way too much that I really left a bad taste in my mouth. But we'll get to
there
that
when we
later.
get there.
Yeah. But overall, I thought this was fun. I thought it had some really fun scenes. And yeah, I mean, generally the consensus on One Piece filler is that it's fun and it's some of the better filler. So
Okay.
I'm in agreement with that so far.
Good. Lou, what did you think?
I actually liked this So I watched the filler content even up to like where I'm at now, and I always have fun with the filler stuff. And their stories aren't actually bad. Like even some of the ones that I've watched that are super like not really conducive to the story or really all that important, I have such a fun time going through it. And this is one of those arcs that I thought was really, really cute. And there are some moments too where it really hit hard, like watching Grandpa Ryu be sad, and I'm like, I'm sad with you. I understand, you know.
So I'm sorry to bring the show down, but this show, this arc, was probably the worst animated arc that we've come across so far.
In terms of the animation quality, or like in terms of storytelling, like what? Can you break that open?
I don't even. So I'll give you very specific examples. So many times in this arc, they will show a shot where nothing is moving,
Yeah,
and
it's a full still frame.
Yeah, full still frame, or they'll do a like little piece where like a boulder is like clearly being drawn across a animation board, and it is the level of quality that we see in this show is it's very, very high caliber, and you could tell that for being a filler arc, they put the filler artists on this, or they had to get this out. They had to literally fill time because the next big arc that they were trying to do was not ready. There was definitely a lot of a lot of still frames of characters where like long shots of characters where the only thing that's moving is their mouth, and once I noticed the first time, I couldn't stop noticing it for a lot of the parts, but it ends super, super strong. And by the end, I was back on board with the arc and with the whole thing, because I was literally gonna there was points where I was thinking about just fast forwarding, through some of the stuff. But I think the last 3 episodes got me enough where it was very, very, very strong still. So, but like you said, Bill, even as filler arcs go, it's still good. It's still very enjoyable.
Yeah, I thought the story was really enjoyable. There's like these moments like her relationship with Grandpa Ryu. I was like, this could easily be equated to like having an old pet, you know, and like having to say goodbye.
And there were so many shots of Ryu's eye just not moving.
There was a lot of that.
Yeah, and either blinking or not blinking, or opening his eye or closing his eye. There was like 18 minutes of it. That was another thing. I was like, man, we get this dragon's eye again.
We also get some of the weakest names. We get
Eric. Yeah, and Nelson.
And Commodore Nelson.
I love that. I love that so much, because like you've got all of these characters up until this point too, with like these really incredible names, or like just given something that's like grandiose, and then we get Commodore Nelson, and then Eric, the most scary name to have for a character who does some of the craziest stuff too. Like I like his attacks. I like his devil fruit, you know. But with a name like Eric, it's not scary.
They did a lot of interesting things with the devil fruits and in this arc. For being a filler arc and not part of the manga canon, they added 2 new devil fruits to.
That was something I was going to be concerned with. I was like, if you're comfortable with that, it would really fuck up the mythology if they, go too crazy with what devil fruits they pick. And I'm sure there's some discussion about this before they make these filler arcs. But I thought that what they chose were pretty safe devil fruit powers in terms of like
whisper
not
fruit, sickle fruit, right?
If anything, I think they played it too safe in terms of the power being so weak that I didn't know exactly what it was.
Right.
Because like for the Uppiece, she has the whisper fruit, right? That's the devil fruit power she has. And I got it later on that it gave her the ability to talk to animals, right? Like any animal, including our boy Grandpa Ryu.
And seagulls.
And
Don't
any
forget
animal.
about seagulls, dude.
No,
Birds, all these birds.
Exactly, but any animal. That's what I was saying. It's like any animal she can talk to, but Luffy can kind of speak to Grandpa Ryu also, or she can hear him. And I was like, but this is also when she's explaining what her power is to Luffy.
Yeah.
So Luffy's hearing Grandpa Ryu. She's hearing him too. Her ability is to hear animals. And I was like, but if you had any devil fruit power, you'd be able to hear Grandpa Ryu. And Eric doesn't. You don't see Eric listening to Grandpa Ryu at all.
No, it's not. Okay, so this is another place where
this was shaky.
Where they step over the bounds a little bit here, because what is happening here is it's not a thing with devil fruits. It's like obviously a piece has her devil fruit power to be able to talk to animals. What Luffy's doing, where he can understand, this is, I'm not gonna say too much here, but One Piece sort of has this power that's like the Force in a lot of ways, and there's a portion of that that's sort of like about understanding like people's feelings in a way. Like I don't want to say too much about it. I'm describing it
like their energy.
Terms.
Yeah. But they specifically say, oh, it's because you have a devil fruit power, because you ate a devil fruit. It's did
they say that specifically? I don't remember.
Yeah, with her, they said it must be because you've eaten a devil fruit that you can.
Because she ate the devil fruit that she ate. It's
no, she says it to Luffy. Because it was established already that he. Yeah, so it's like. And while explaining her devil fruit ability, so I was like, so you basically just leveled Luffy's up a little bit, like 10%, and you leveled hers down a little bit too. Yeah, you basically
make it the myth. If they say that again, I don't remember that being said. But if it was, then yeah, that just fucks up the whole devil fruit mythology and makes her devil fruit pretty much a non-existent devil fruit.
Yeah, and if it's filler, I'm sure that we might not ever see it again. But seeing that it was she could talk to any animal, so it was more like later on when she's talking to the birds, which was pretty awesome. Man, talk to birds all day. I'd be doing that relentlessly. But she would
talking to birds all day.
I'd be talking to birds all day. But she. That does give her something else that I wish they did a little bit more with it, if anything. And as far as Eric's, I was like, it's based on wind, but he can only control wind the specific way, with the for cutting. So it's a sickle. It's the sickle fruit, but it's wind based, which you actually talked about last time, Bill, right?
Wind. You could just make the sickle wind.
First of all, let's just kind of go in on Eric here. Fuck Eric with his fucking big old forehead, tall brain looking ass, and his hair. He's got that fucking Dairy Queen swirl looking up.
Bad.
Get the fuck out. And he's got these little baby glasses on, trying to look like Cyclops or Morpheus or something.
I thought the glasses were cool.
No, those were the worst part.
They were Blade glasses.
Those were the worst.
Blade,
glasses.
Yeah. No, he does not wear them like Blade. This is like the kid that goes to high school after seeing Blade and he wears those glasses and you're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was the most egregious thing you've said so far in this podcast, Lewis, that he's wearing them like Blade. The coolest guy.
Don't you dare disrespect Blade like that.
Oh, don't put me back in the brick.
Back to the fucking brick. I'm going to put the fucking ankle thing on. He was a poorly designed antagonist.
I like that he looked goofy, but like
he didn't. It's not so far. It's not so much he looked goofy. I thought he just didn't look part of the world like the other characters do. Like he looked weird, like out of place.
Get used to that. Things get weird in the Grand Line.
Yeah, the fact that he's weird doesn't. I mean,
not weird in that way. I'm talking. Yeah, weird like you can tell Oda created all of these characters, and like you can for certain manga like artists, you can tell when it's their stuff. I'm forgetting the guy who created Dragon Ball Z, but
Akira Toriyama.
Akira Toriyama. Yeah, I'm so sorry. That was actually the biggest thing we ever did.
That's why I'm the captain for real, guys.
That's why he's actually the captain.
Get back in the brig, Justin.
But he also does the art for Dragon Quest, and you can tell when you're playing Chrono Trigger. Yes, and you can tell when you play those games. You're like, oh, that's clearly him. And Oda has a particular style too that I think I'm comfortable 60 episodes in saying that I can recognize to a certain extent, and this clearly felt off to me, like Eric's design. Eric in particular. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just fuck that guy in general.
Eric the sicko, get out of here.
Sicko. The sicko guy.
That was a good gig. Or gag.
That was pretty good. So a piece is in, like, she's been captured by the Navy. She escapes the Navy, and she makes it onto who else's ship but the Going Merry. And she meets our crew. And
she doesn't just end up there. Luffy just fucking kidnaps her off the boat. He just snatches her.
Well,
he's like, who's that? Get over here.
What's her bounty at? Because she technically took an entire Navy ship down.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not reporting that.
Yeah.
We got
that's a bad look.
A little girl.
But I did want to mention that Luffy snatching her out of the air and knocking Zoro out of the thing. I was like, this is pretty funny. This is pretty funny
Zoro
stuff.
gets beat up a lot in these first two episodes too.
Yeah, I do like that. She freaks out that they're. I'm fast forwarding a little bit.
We've already been discussing the arc a little bit, so we can fast forward some of the play-by-plays.
So that she goes, she wakes up, she's freaking out that they're pirates. She realizes real fast that they're not those type of pirates. We get that great
still of the evil-looking straw hats in her.
That was pretty funny too. Yeah. She figures out that they're not those type of pirates. And she wants to make it up to him. I do like the part where she makes them all breakfast. And Luffy thinks it's fantastic.
Yeah, Luffy's all about it. Yeah, he's so great.
Yeah. And everybody else thinks it's just disgusting, including her. And Luffy's just, I don't understand what you guys are talking about. This is clearly delicious.
Yeah. They're like, you don't have to make the meals. And he's like, why not?
Yeah, I don't see what everybody's talking about. But
what's cool too is like right after this is they give more portrayal to, I guess, how the Grand Line works, because they talk about the calm belt.
Calm belt.
I do like that. I do. So I do like this.
I think that's one of the better parts of this filler arc, because I don't remember when they actually explain the calm belt within the series, but I like that they give a visual towards it, so you know sort of what they're dealing with that and why. Because I feel like that's one of the
big questions.
One of the big questions of why can't you just roll right into the Grand Line? It goes through the center of the world, you can go to the equator from any place, place in the world,
Exactly.
The Calm Belt Sea Kings, which you'll see like that. That's still where they reveal like all the Sea Kings and like the ship is on the nose of one of them. That still will be brought back multiple times when they refer to the Sea Kings or the Calm Belt.
Spoilers.
But that's also like the one from the opener, like the opening sequence. They have that.
So that was actually going to be one of the first questions I asked Bill. Is is the Calm Belt like canon? Because I was like, whoa, this is a big part of canon that they're putting in this filler arc.
The Calm Belt is canonical for sure.
So I can't imagine skipping this arc and going into after this where they would explain, like, how, because I would be thinking that the whole time. Like, why didn't they just go into the, like,
well, I'm not sure if they explain it in the next arc when you actually get to Reverse Mountain. Or it might have even been mentioned. I don't think it was mentioned before because I think I would have made a note of it.
They said that you have to go. They're very vague about you can only go in a certain way, and she has a map to the Grand Line about how to get into it. But they never actually say, why you can't just roll right in there. Being that you can't the calm. Was it the calm current?
Calm belt.
Calm belt. Yeah, you can't pass through the calm belt.
I do like the Sea King designs that they showed here too.
They were pretty dope.
And then the big old nose hair.
Oh yeah, that was pretty.
You
funny.
gotta get sneezed out of the calm belt,
And they do, and they go to the Warship Island, and that's where we meet Grandpa Bokuden. And I love that basically the boring story that he uses to put them to sleep is more or less Genesis from the Bible.
Yeah, this father of this.
Where it's 40 pages of just describing lineages forever.
Oh, or you can say Lord of the Rings. Because there's definitely a lot of that in Lord of the Rings too.
There's the
not as much as Genesis.
Oh no. But it's Lord of the Rings is specifically Bibleistic in the way they do it because of the Bible. But either way, I want to give a big shout out to everybody's hat on this island. Big fan of these hats. Top 5 hats, and I would actually call this the very, very, very strongest hat of this episode. Yeah, there you go. People. Dropped it in there.
You heard it here first.
Wow. Because I was going to say that I think some of these designs on the island, just like the whole vibe of the island and the way the people are dressed, has a very Studio Ghibli vibe to me.
It gave me that and a lot of Wind Waker vibes. I was like, man, there's a lot of Zelda stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I said that so many times to Lou, especially when we get to that little temple spot and the temple spot where you have to you go in the temple and you put the little thing in and then you have to backtrack because you find out that what actually opened up is a temple on the other island, and that is, I was like, we were watching that, I was like, this is big Zelda vibes. This is huge Zelda vibes. I want to play Wind Waker right now. I was going on and on about
that. Yeah, you did say that.
you were telling yourself, you're like, oh man, I just expect them at some point just to hear. It's just,
Also, I'm going to go off topic here for a second, and I'm going to say fuck Nintendo for making Skyward Sword remastered instead of bringing Wind Waker to the Switch. Big fuck you to Nintendo for that. I really wanted to play Wind Waker again.
Well, they did do. I think it's because they were just doing them in order, and they did. They did
on
Wind
the
Waker.
Wii U, and who has the Wii U? Nobody.
I know.
Anyway,
they should just do a whole collection, just get it over with, and just put a whole collection.
Thank you.
It's just weird Nintendo decisions in general. They always have they have the weirdest decisions in the entire world. But Mario Golf is pretty awesome. Just for the outfits.
Have you been playing that?
Huh? I can neither confirm nor deny if I've been playing that or I've not been playing that. But I do love
Kirby Golf. Play that much.
Ooh, that'd be good too. Oh man, okay, we're gonna go on a bigger rant. More Nintendo sports games with more added Nintendo characters. I want Kirby. I want basically Smash Bros, but for every sport. I want
golf and ultimate frisbee.
Yes,
or motocross.
I do. I want all of it. I want every single bit of it.
I'm sort of different in that what I want in the sports games is I want some deep ass cuts for the Mario characters that get on there. I want even some real weird tertiary characters. I want Professor Egad in there. I need King Boo. King Boo thankfully is in some of these.
Yeah, no, King Boo does make a cut.
I want a thwomp. Give me the big thwomp.
I do like that. I do like Bowser Jr. being a staple now, and that he's in everything. And I'm like, good.
I don't need no fucking Bowser Jr.
Oh, get out of here! Oh my gosh,
he thinks
you're such
Princess
a piece
Peach is his
of garbage.
mom. Doesn't understand how Oh my god, I don't even want that visual in my mind. I don't need that Rule 34 shit in my life.
Guys,
get Bowser Jr. out of here.
Guys, Mark, you know what? Shuffle your podcast. Go about 2 minutes ahead because we're going to be going on a real big tangent. This is the same person that was talking all this shit about how Cinnabar Island in Pokemon.
You're coming at me for that? You're coming at me for that?
That's the best fight. And guess what, guys? I watched it with my son. I was like, oh, Bill said this was the best. And I have such a high opinion, whatever Bill says. And then this fucking wig-ass bitch comes out. Like, you know, he's so bad. And it is such a disappointment. I cannot explain it enough. I'm texting Bill and sending him screen grab. Like, I downloaded the Pokemon TV app, the official Pokemon TV app, so I can cast it to my television so I can show my son, my spawn, love of my life, next to my wife, and the entire show. Because we were just gonna start watching Pokemon Journeys on Netflix, and it's not great. I don't enjoy it at all. I do like that they take trains more often than that instead of just walking everywhere. But Cinnabar Island sucks. It was bad. I was psyched to get the old Pokemon songs that weren't the Pokemon rap, like the Team Rockets.
You're going to tell me that you didn't like Seismic Toss on Magmar?
You're talking about one part. And you said the greatest Pokemon episode.
I haven't seen this episode since I was a kid. I haven't watched a lot of Pokemon since I was a kid. So here's what I'm going to do, Justin. You're giving me the read right now. That's fine. What I'm going to do for the next podcast, I'm going to rewatch those episodes of that fight. And you know what? Maybe I was a delusional kid. Maybe it's not good. Maybe you're going to ruin my whole childhood. Or maybe I'm going to come for your ass on the next podcast and be like, that's Seismic Toss.
You tell me if that makes up for what's-his-face's wig the whole time.
First of all, you don't want to go into a volcano with a bald head. You might get singed. You want that protection of the hair.
I can confirm. Yeah, I can confirm. That is
true. You don't want a cinder to kind of like fly away and land on your scalp. That's going to be bad for you. It's going to scar. Or you're going to scar your scalp in a volcano.
Makes you more badass. Or it makes you more of a badass. So you get in there and just like
Blaine. Yeah, you can have that Blaine Mr. Clean head.
But it's so like that's all one big scar. What if that was like all one big? He didn't feel anything there anymore.
I have one big scar on my head.
Hair does not.
I don't have a scalp.
Anymore.
I have a scar.
But yeah, that's all right. Sorry, listeners.
So that's some homework for me on next podcast. We'll start it off with my Cinnabar Island re-review, and we're gonna see if Justin's right or if I'm gonna come for Justin.
Wig ass.
Bust him, bring him down, but we'll see.
Wig ass bitch.
This is my time. Lou the Glue to step up while they're fighting. I'll take over.
I think there's nobody that would hate being the captain more than you.
Oh God, so much responsibility.
No, but yeah, sorry, listeners, for going that we went on maybe 3 tangents in a row.
And just like Justin was attacking me, for my enjoyment of Cinnabar Island, Eric Attacks is the name of episode 56. I couldn't get over. I was like, Eric Attacks.
Was this the one with him and Zorro?
No, that's a little bit later, but I mean, we can talk about that too. But yeah, this is
because they make
Eric comes through. This is when he shows the sickle fruit power, and they make fun of him. And this is my very, very, very of the week. I think this is the very, very, very first time that we see Sanji call Nami Swan instead of Nami-san.
Yes, he does.
Which is one of my favorites. I love that little twist.
And it was weird when we were talking before, I was saying that the first half is like I think worse than the second half of this because they really lean into Sanji being all over Nami. Like they lean into it a lot more, like 4 or 5 times, in the episode where like I think in the back half they may do it like once an episode or something like that. But him calling her Nami Swan was that did make me feel good in my heart. Like it feels sincere to me.
It is sincere. I feel like.
Yeah, and you want to call her Nami Swan.
I do like their game plan of like, all right, we're gonna wheel Ryu down, and we're gonna jump onto the ship using that rock that looks like Usopp's nose.
And Usopp does not skip a beat. He is not offended. I love that's great. That's great for Usopp. I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's proud of his nose.
Of course,
he's proud.
He is.
You know. What we also get here is when they're getting up to where Ryu is we get some new attacks from Luffy. We get the Gum Gum suspension bridge.
Yes, that was great.
And that was he does a few of those little bridges in this arc, and I thought that was fun. We also get
Gum Gum Balloon.
Well, we get the Gum Gum Balloon later.
Okay.
But we get some. All right, we get a few scenes that I want to talk about here. We get one where Zoro is helping Sanji with the dishes. I loved that. That's so wholesome. We don't get stuff like that.
That's so great. And here's Zoro. Here's it. You don't have to keep telling me my name.
You don't have to keep saying my name.
Gosh, there's definitely a lot of character moments in these episodes because they don't have to go into like a big episode like spoilers or whatever or like big overarching stuff.
Yeah, they can't do too much world building, so they stick with like the little character moments, and so you get some nice stuff.
Yeah, so I will say that even when the Sanji's talking to all the crew about not throwing the food away, and they have to eat all of it. That's still a nice little callback to his whole deal of not wasting food. I like that a lot.
There is a character in this episode. I don't know if you spotted him, Justin. Very specific character.
The Panda Man?
It was
Panda Man. Here's another thing that I'm doing for the Instagram. Whenever we see a Panda Man, I am putting that in a pinned story at the top of our profile. So I got the one from today's. Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Panda Watch. Panda Watch.
It's called In Search of Panda Man.
We get some Panda Man. I have missed Panda Man every single time until you guys have showed me, and then I look him up and I was like, gosh, I must be blind or something. Cause
did you see this one though?
I did see this.
Okay, yeah, I thought this was like it was a really quick one. It's like a hard to see one, but like
No, I saw him and I literally was looking at him. I was like, why does he seem so familiar? So I didn't know it was Panda Man, but I recognized Panda Man. It's like when you see somebody from high school but you don't know their name and you're like, you do seem familiar. And I think I know where you're from, but I don't know who you are.
I think Panda Man isn't actually part of the Navy either because he wasn't in a uniform or anything. He was just running across the deck.
First of all,
even if he was in the Navy, the nips got to be out, man. Heart-shaped nips. That's the Panda Man signature.
They don't miss.
And third of all, if you're in the Navy, it doesn't matter what you wear. We've established in this show that you wear whatever you want and still be part of the Navy. He could be in a fucking Speedo and still be in the Navy. Panda Man.
Only if you're one of the higher ups, though. You can't be a general.
Can't be a
random
grunt.
dude.
That's what's his face? Hempo or what's his face? Helmeppo. Yeah, he was in a suit. He was like a lieutenant or something like that.
I mean, that's
Am I wrong?
You have to earn it. You have to earn it though.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't part of the Navy. Only his dad was.
He was commanding Navy guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying it because it's like, my dad will fuck you up if you don't do what I'm telling you.
Oh, well, he's definitely in the Navy at the end.
If your boss's kid comes in and tells you to do something,
I'm going to tell him to fuck off. You don't pay you don't write my paychecks.
Yeah, but if you're a weenie who joins the One Piece Navy, you might.
You calling Kobe a weenie?
Yeah, I was about to say, he's scrubbing decks with Kobe.
First of all,
Phil, this is why you got overthrown. All right.
He surely is a weenie, but he won't always be a weenie.
I love Lewis going back and forth with his alliances on the ship.
I just want to make sure, he's the captain right now. I gotta be on his good side.
He's on the right side. He wants to be on the right side of history.
Can I? I don't want to keep swabbing decks.
Yeah, we go a little. Yeah, this escape plan was pretty sick. Basically it's a whole Mario Kart sequence of them like just launching this old ass dragon, onto into the water.
Yeah. I wish there was more sword fight. Like they could have done something with like Zoro versus Eric the Sicko.
They definitely could have, especially when there was an episode titled Eric versus Zoro. And there was no fight. There was them facing off, and a lot of noises.
Mostly in the also that fight. They were mostly in the background of shots fighting. Like they were not even in the foreground.
Exactly. That's why
we didn't even get Zoro doing any sword attacks. We got him throwing a tree branch at his legs.
Literally no named attack. We don't get one onigiri. We don't get anything. He throws a branch.
I don't see a swing of his sword. Like I don't remember.
Yeah, and you're gonna get me amped up with like you're gonna do the shots where he like clicks his sword out or like he's getting ramped up for the fight, and then there's no fight. I was so
do you guys
about that.
Have either of you guys?
And also this was going to be one of his first fights with using Kitetsu 3, the Cursed Blade.
Oh my gosh!
And I thought we were going to get maybe a little portrayal, even though we shouldn't. We were going to get a little portrayal with that. No dice, nothing at all.
It was. That's where I really thought, because I thought to myself, maybe I was just like overanalyzing the episode, and I was like, no, they clearly were trying to save some time on animation, because this would have deserved a fight. Like this would have deserved a properly animated fight, and they did not give that to us. They did not give that to Zoro. They did not give that to America.
Some things that I thought were cool with this filler arc was like the mirror wall.
I did like that.
That was really cool, especially when like Luffy's trying to make out. He's like, "It's a ship," and then he touches it.
He thinks it's another ship, but
he starts doing it like a gag where it's like somebody's arm is choking him and pulling him in.
He goes, "Guys, look." That is 100% Louis Machino joke right there.
100%. I also loved when they were coming out and it's just the head of Mary.
Yeah.
Just pokes out and they're like, and then like the rest of it comes.
But do we want to talk about the second island? Does this second island actually have a name that they go to?
No,
it's not the Lost Island.
I don't think it. Well, maybe it does have a name. I don't know, but because they thought it was a Lost Island, but then it wasn't the Lost Island. To me, this is just like Wind Waker half island kind of shit. Like when you're going through the Wind Waker map and you end up on one of those islands, it's just like an island that has like a map on it, and like that's all.
You know what we did get with the Zoro versus Eric? Some pocket sand.
I did.
Fuji dust. He Fuji dusted him.
Did he say Fuji dust? Or something like that?
Fuji dust is like it's like an old wrestler move.
Oh, okay.
Classic.
No, he totally, I always say pocket sand. He totally pocket sanded him, and I was like, oh man, my favorite move, pocket sand.
Eric's so scary.
I've been using that one for years.
Yeah. That's why I always carry a pocket full of sand, just in case. You never know.
Man, it's like the ultimate defense mechanism. Can't cut through that.
Yeah, they hate me at the laundromat, though.
Do it to my boss all the time.
This man, he pays a top dollar to get those suits dry cleaned.
Yeah, they do the same gag again too, where they're like, let's roll them down a hill.
Oh yeah, no, they read the. I'm pretty sure it was probably reused footage. This map room was definitely Wind Waker Zelda vibes. That's where I really was hit. I was like, this is what this is reminding me of. This is reminding me totally of Zelda. Like, because it's like a map, and yeah, like you said, Bill, it's like, oh, go back to the place that you were before. And I was like, wait, you're telling me we're gonna go back to the place we were in the beginning?
Yeah, I was a little unsatisfied with that too. Yeah. But we go back and we get a sweet scene of Usopp shooting a cannon into a larger cannon, which fits the theme. Yeah, he fits the theme of Tennet, where Lou's like, bullets going into guns, dude. Bullets going into guns. And we get that in One Piece. So, you know what? Tennet, One Piece did it first.
Yeah.
So...
This is my very, very, very Denzel Washington's son moment of the week.
I will say this almost makes up for the lack of Zorro. I was like, and that's why I was talking about going back and forth. This episode, this arc got me on a roller coaster because I was like, that is one of the most hype Usopp moments so far. Of freaking Usopp shooting a little ball into a cannon, blowing a cannon up on a freaking 5-sail ship. That was so awesome.
Usopp had a couple of moments too, where like even Eric goes to like do the
sickle move.
Yeah, and he like dives in to save a piece.
Yes.
Yeah, he does like a front flip in too.
Oh yeah, the slide.
Being a brave boy.
Yeah, no, he's fucking awesome. He's definitely like up. He's being on that ship for so long. She might think that Usopp was first mate.
Yeah,
by the actions
like,
that was
like, you're so cool, Usopp, and gives him like a thumbs up.
The thumbs up at the end was so good. I was like, yeah, that's right.
Okay, but the absolute peak of this arc, in my opinion, is we get Luffy goes up on when Ryu starts flying. He like goes up on his neck, and he does like a flying like axe kick.
From space,
through
basically.
Through the ship, from the top turnbuckle. This was fucking sweet. And into the like through the whole ship into the ocean. I was like, this is one clearly where they spent the entire animation budget for this, but also is hands down the sweetest part of the entire arc. And I was fucking hyped with that.
It was Hawkeye Mihawk cutting ships in half levels of cool. That's how cool it was.
5-mast.
Yeah, 5-mast boat, and Commodore Nelson's out there, and he is. I personally liked Commodore Nelson for some reason as a villain. He's just so greasy and big. And
he's got that Navy tattoo across his belly, like where Tupac has the his tattoo. We got where Tupac has Thug Life. He's got Navy Life.
For all of our crossover listeners, it's Tupac, One Piece. This is where they cross over. Commodore Nelson, clearly Tupac Shakur.
On the same level.
But yeah, no, he comes out, and I do like also how Eric says, oh man, I thought he was just some fat cat who sat in his chair all day, but once he's on sea, he's like a different man. And Commodore Nelson's making moves. He's got that cool chain that he's got with all the other Navy ships. Very Nova Corps. That when all the Nova Corps get together, they can form a fence that you can't pass through. So I did like that.
Okay, I do want to come in here because this is the worst part of the arc for me, and the part that I thought was really, really like poorly handled is we have Zoro cutting through steel chains. Zoro just says, "I can cut through anything," and then cuts through steel. First of all, no the fuck he cannot cut through steel. It is like a huge plot point in one of the upcoming arcs for him to try to cut through metal. And it's like well known in that arc that he cannot do it. And there's like a whole thing. It's the best part. One of the best parts of that entire arc is his fight where he has to learn to cut through metal and like all the shit he goes through to do it. And in this filler arc, with absolutely no portrayal, he just says, yeah, of course, I can cut through anything, and just slices right through it. And we see him do it multiple times. And it's the same animation each time. Yeah, they're really reusing the same animation. And he is just cutting through these giant steel chains like butter. And I was just, every time I was like, no. And yeah, I was just like...
And not only that, Usopp and Apis are hyping him up from the back, saying, yeah, cut through all that metal.
Like, I can't believe you're doing it. You're doing the thing. You're cutting through metal.
They said,
you'll do the same thing in the later arc, dude. It's going to be so sweet. You're going to have no problem.
They said, you know what, Bill? Fuck you.
They turned and looked in the camera. They're like, fuck you, Bill. He's doing it. Look.
They're like, fuck the canonical mythology of this series.
So they do this chain move, and I don't even know how it didn't even matter that they're doing this chain move because that's not even what gets them off of out of the fight or whatever. Grandpa Ryu summons all the other dragons, and
the goons
they do
come through.
They do.
Which is, this is one of those things when it happened, I was like, why didn't he just do that like 1,000 years ago?
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's definitely one of those things you just have to go through. It was that easy.
All he had to do was yell. They didn't have to do any of the things they did.
Maybe he had to remember.
Then the island pops up, and so I don't think Ryu yelling was why they all came through, is because they had to come there for the migration, which they do it once every 1,000 years, and then the island pops up. My question is, the island pops up. Maybe I blinked and missed it. Why did the ships all disappear as soon as the island came up? Like all the enemy ships that were around, they're just like gone. I don't remember the scene of them like sailing away, or like them saying like, "Okay, we're done here." Like they just go away.
Well, it's I don't know if were they far enough away, because it's also by happenstance that the island basically pops up around them, because it's basically Warship Island just gets bigger. Right? Like it just becomes a giant island.
To some degree. Like it happens in the front of the island. Like it's not fully attached to Warship Island.
Yeah.
They do like a wide shot and show you like it's still technically floating in the sea.
It's still in the sea, and it's like, they can navigate out of there, which was like, I was like, oh man, if this thing, how the hell are they going to get their ship like, off the freaking island and like into the water again?
Like you pull a dragon's nose hair.
Yeah, you do. That's exactly. Or get 3 of those dragons just to carry your ship out of there. You know what? Actually, ride those dragons to the Grand Line, and have them drop. Yeah, exactly.
Airdrop.
Damn.
Come to the Grand Line with style.
That would be with style. And the whole time we didn't even talk about why they wanted these dragons in the beginning. The Dragonite, is Dragonite a thing in the show?
No,
Bill?
It is not.
I didn't made up for this.
I think it was like way overdone too, because like it's an elixir for eternal life, and it's like, okay, that's kind of way overpowered compared to anything we have in the show so far. Like,
I mean, it makes sense with them. Like, if the dragons die at the nest, they become reborn. Like a phoenix. Kind of like a phoenix, yeah. So it kind of makes sense for them to be like, oh, well, maybe like if we take the dragon bones, we can make Dragonite, and that's an elixir. But they even say by the end of it too, they're like, it's not real. It was just like a legend.
Yeah, they go through a lot of exposition to explain that it's not something that is ever going to come back. They're like, even if they did, it wouldn't work. And even if they were able to get these bones, they wouldn't be able to get the elixir out of them.
Their bones are their money.
Really putting the nail in the coffin of this filler arc.
Yeah.
But you know what also puts the nail in the coffin of this filler arc is the underwhelming fight between Luffy and Eric, where it's just Luffy just tanks a couple attacks from Eric, gets sliced up, beats his ass. I mean, we do get a cool black and white animation moment that I liked, but it's just like the weight was just not there at any point compared to like what we get in like the canonical series.
And the person to finish off Eric being Nami committing murder.
Oh well, let's talk about just this fight for a second, because Luffy finishes the fight. He's literally like he's like sliced and diced, and then he just goes to chilling and has no wounds and like nothing. Like, normally in One Piece wounds are kind of ignored to almost a comical degree, but they're like still there. But
he's fine in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, he has like no scrapes or anything. He's like, yeah, I'm clean, whatever, like we're good. Anyway, where are these dragon eggs,
Yeah, just get them dragon eggs.
I didn't even notice that, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
Oh, I noticed that.
Straight to them going towards the Grand Line, and he's just like perfectly fine again.
So we can kind of jump off of Warship Island, I think. Does anybody else have anything that they want to say before we get out of Warship Island and onto that into the Grand Line, Reverse Mountain? Does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about?
I have no final words for Warship Island. I thought it was fine. I thought it was serviceable, especially for a filler arc. I think they did a little too much in some areas, like I said. And yeah, I'm glad we're moving on. That's pretty short of it.
Good riddance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be that critical with it, but yeah, it's just, you get filler content, and this is filler content. Like it is what it is, you know.
You get some nuggets of gold out of, like, you do get some great nuggets of gold, but for the most part, yeah, you definitely get the filler content really pays. It describes it. But then we do get to Reverse Mountain, and I wanted to ask Bill and Lewis, is this? I couldn't imagine skipping this, because it basically tells you how they get to the Grand Line. Am I wrong? Or
I think they literally show this, like, this same half of the episode, and the next episode is like more or less what I remember.
Yeah, I think they cut out the part where Nami murders Eric the Sicko.
Which, yeah, Lou, go off, because I thought that was a really funny part.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious too. It's one of those things that stuck with me up until, like, even us being like, all right, well, now we're doing that. Like, I just remember Nami murder someone, and everyone's just like, and
again,
Nami's so cute when she murders people.
And they confirm it in the most lighthearted way too. They're like, oh, not only that, but he definitely can't swim, and even if he could swim, he'd never be able to in this case. Yeah, so he's like, definitely dead.
Yeah, they're like, he's going to drown miserably in this current. It's going to,
like, up until this point, has anybody murdered anybody in One Piece?
No, the people get sliced up all the time.
Arlong literally murdered Bellamere. We watched plenty of murder.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that. Yeah, I guess you're right.
The first chapter of the manga, and like the third episode of the show, Lucky Roo point blank murders a bandit with a gun. Like,
somebody in the head.
So tight.
Well, because when you said that Nami murders a guy, because you said it before it happened, and you mentioned that there might have been a gun, I was like, are we gonna see Nami just Lucky Roo on Eric real quick? I was gonna be like, I was like waiting to say she Lucky Rooed him. I was like literally waiting to jump off the couch and see that, but
put your life on it.
She just fucking, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was like. Lou made it sound like some shit like that was gonna happen, and I was like,
she just like pushes him into the water. She's the most pirate out of all of them. Justin's still right. I mean, it's just.
She is the most pirate. It's.
This is a non-canonical Nami murder, though. I mean, I did like to see it. It was very funny, though.
So we're putting it back in canon. It's non-canonical, now canonical.
Yeah, I mean, we're still going to talk about it forever, but
yeah, exactly. I do like the idea of them going, because I even mentioned before that the red line and the Grand Line, like, where they intersect, being where I thought the One Piece was going to be. But obviously that's how you get into the Grand Line, so it's still important.
That's where Reverse Mountain is.
Yeah, I do enjoy that idea of them going up a Reverse Mountain, and that's how you actually get in to the Grand Line. But no, I thought that was awesome, and I was, like I said before, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I hope I didn't miss that. Like, if we skipped that, I would have been bummed.
No, you don't miss that. Okay. I mean, I don't think you see, like Lou said, I don't think you see the scene of Eric getting booted off and drowning to death, but
they get like the map out and everything, and they explain like how they're gonna go up there.
Well, we'll see for sure next week, but I don't remember missing any of this content.
Okay.
What I will say is, this is when I first watched the series, I made kind of a huge mistake and watched it in English dub. And when I got to this point in the series where they go to Reverse Mountain, at that point I had to switch to subs, the fan subs, because there was no dub past that point. Like, it was just not that successful in the United States at that point. And so this is when I first switched to subs and realized the error of my ways. But yeah, so I always think about that when I see them going up Reverse Mountain, is like, that was the first time that I heard like the real voice actors for the show.
That's where you really knew them.
10 times better. The moment Zoro speaks, you're just like, oh,
yeah,
oh,
Sentoryu. Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
But that's pretty much how this one caps off. Like, them like literally rocketing into the next arc, to the next adventure.
Justin, are you excited? Because like after this, we're in the Grand Line, baby.
I am so pumped for the Grand Line. Let me tell you guys, Grand Line. Actually, it's funny is I'm watching this on Netflix, and the next 16 episodes are called Entering the Grand Line. Like that's the season name of it. And I was like, this is pretty funny. But I'm super pumped to get into Grand Line. Man, this is the hype. This is what everyone has been talking about. Like, in another anime, this would be, the halfway point, or like, this. But this is almost where the adventure begins. This is like end of prologue. So no, I'm super pumped.
Yeah, and what we're getting into is the start of sort of the next saga, and this is going to be, without saying anything, obviously, this is going to be when you first see Oda tell like a saga story, like a long term, like where the same sort of thing is covered over multiple islands, or like the same hint of something is taken over multiple islands. And yeah, these next few arcs, like some really good ones, and can't wait to talk about them.
Yeah, that's even for, and it's not spoilers. Well, for listeners, and when you look up the episodes and stuff like that, everything up to this point is considered the East Blue Saga. So we've officially gone through the first saga, I guess, of One Piece.
Oh man, guys, we're entering the Grand Line.
We are. We're about to do it, man. We're holding hands. We're
entering the next saga, the Baroque Works saga.
Ooh, that, and that I'm like I said before, I can't say it enough. I'm super pumped. What I'm even more pumped for, actually, backtrack. Those episodes that we'll be going through. Bill, what episodes would those be?
The next episodes that we're covering will be the Reverse Mountain Arc, and that is going to be episodes 62 through 69.
I just wanted to hear you say 69.
You gotta say it. Oh, good job, Captain.
Yeah, that was my last move. That is my last official act as captain, and now I will actually be taking off my captain's hat, my little,
and giving it to me,
and I will be putting it on. Actually, another thing I wanted to talk about really, really quick. I noticed for the first time that is there no ship wheel in the show, or on the Going Merry?
They have on the Going Merry. They have the that like
that lever down there, the oar thing that
controls the rudder.
Yeah, that controls the rudder. I was like,
after you go right, that's it.
Yeah, no, but that's extremely inefficient. It's as somebody who's playing Sea of Thieves, you gotta have the wheel. As
someone who's basically a pirate himself.
Basically, as a pirate.
I'm something of a pirate myself.
I'm also a captain, so I have a thing to say about this.
But that's that got me this episode too, and that's gonna repaint my whole idea of the ship going forward. With it now having one of the iconic pirate themes is gonna make it very unique. not the sheep head or anything like that.
What's interesting too is they broke the rudder in this filler arc, and it'll stay broken for the rest of this.
No, they break it going onto Reverse Mountain, which is canonical material. So I'm pretty sure that will also be shown in the next episode.
Okay.
True. Okay.
Right.
You got me there. See, this is why you're captain.
That's why I'm the captain, baby.
You put the hat back on, Captain Bill. So,
Captain Bill, we missed you.
I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous the whole time as captain. I know. I told you,
it puts a stress on your body. It just. You just can't.
Honey.
So, I want to let everybody know that this show posts every Friday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. If you like the show, if you want your friends to listen to it, if anybody has been like, oh my gosh, One Piece, it's so many episodes, I'll never be able to get into it.
You tell them to grow the fuck up and
be a man
there and watch some great shit.
Just say, Justin's got a kid. He's got a kid and he's watching this. But No, tell them like this is the perfect way to do it. Tell them to subscribe, and then we break the show up, I think, in very manageable chunks for people to listen to. Yeah. So tell them to do that on their podcaster of choice, or even if they're a big fan or a big fan of One Piece and they just want some of that sweet One Piece media, tell them to go on Instagram and follow us at Very Strongest Pod on Instagram, and Bill will have that loaded up with all sorts of goodies, new episodes when they come up, like he said before, like neat little treats for our fans.
We're gonna get those cover stories, yeah. For maybe you have a fan who's an anime only watcher, and they're always talking about I need a really convenient way to read these cover stories that I missed out on because I only watched the anime. And you can tell them, you know what? You can rely on Captain Bill, who's going to have those up in the next few months as we go through them. And we're also going to be covering those on the episodes of the podcast that we cover filler episodes. So filler arcs moving forward, we're also going to be covering these cover pages, cover stories. And that's going to be fun, too, for those of you who are like, well, I don't really want to listen to filler content. Well, we got you covered.
Grow up.
Well, we got you covered because we're going to be covering some rare canonical content that, most other podcasts, they wouldn't cover this content. They're just going to
Why is that, Bill? Why wouldn't they do that?
Because it's not. It's not the. It's not it's the kind of content that gets covered when people talk about theory videos. So you might be going into these theory videos on YouTube if you're caught up with the series. You're like, you know what? I want to listen to some good One Piece theories. And you go listen, they're talking about these cover stories, and you're like, I don't know anything about cover stories. I didn't know about, okay, I'm not going to say anything because this is a spoiler-free podcast, but there are some things that they do, some places they go, these characters, and you're like, I don't really know about this. But Bill's got you covered. The captain, he's going to take you through.
You're going to learn today.
Very Strongest Pod on Instagram. Check us out.
Exactly. Those other podcasts, they may be strong, but they're not the very strongest.
Very, very strongest.
3 V's. Remember,
3
guys.
V's.
Also, remember when Shanks says no, I'll see you all next week.
Every time.